wanna be okay, be okay, be okay. I just wanna be okay today.
I hope you guys are okay today from wherever you're listening to us, perhaps across North America on Sirius XM, PGA Tour Radio, or through NBC Sports and Golf Channel and all their myriad of platforms. Easiest way to find us on a portal that works for you, just go to watchfairwaysoflife.com. If you go to watchfairwaysoflife.com/video, then we're also on demand, so you can hear that exclusive interview with Danny Willett from earlier today, or everything that Lee Trevino, the legend, just had to say. Another legend joining us right now. Bobby Clampett has settled in. Bobby, what are you doing? Are you working, doing some stuff for Morning Drive this morning?
I was.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, made my debut here of Morning Drive. It's been
Your
fun.
debut?
Yes,
I like that.
right here on the Golf
After
Channel.
all the years you've done media, this was your debut.
My debut today. After 25 years of being in this business, finally made Golf Channel.
ImpactZoneGolf.com is Bobby's website, ImpactZoneGolf.com. What's going on with ImpactZoneGolf.com?
Now we're helping people play better golf, helping them understand that if you improve your impact, Matt, you improve your game. It's really that simple.
You have the commercials that I've actually seen running here on Golf Channel,
Right,
where you talk about that, where it's not about what you do here, it's not about what you do there, it's about what you do in that critical area.
Yeah.
That's something that you're continuing to preach long and hard.
Well, I think there's a lot of confusion in the golf industry right now. A lot of frustrated golfers.
True.
Statistics show that 4 million golfers quit every year in the United States. And the real reason is because of this confusion. I call it style-based confusion. There's a lot of different style-based teachers teaching all these different styles, but the best players in the world have a variety of different styles that they use. You look at Furyk, you look at Bubba Watson, Danny Willett. You look at all these guys.
Lee Trevino.
Lee Trevino.
Yeah.
You know, one of the greatest ball strikers of all time. I remember as a kid reading an article about Lee Trevino. Dick Altman wrote the article, and the title of the article was 5 Wrongs Make a Miraculous Right. Nobody could explain why these great players were such good players. One was laid off, the other was across the line. One had a Dustin Johnson left hand at the top. The other one had a Gary Player left hand at the top. I mean, on and on. Hip turns and shoulder turns. It doesn't matter. It's what you're producing at Impact. The whole purpose of the golf swing is to create great impact, and that's what we do at Impact Zone Golf.
I know that you're out here beating the drum. Do you ever feel like because of the weight of all this teaching by style that's going on outside you, that you're fighting an uphill battle and getting the message out there?
Oh, definitely. I think it's been this way for so long. It's an epidemic. It's something that affected my career. I was a top 20 player in the world and then started working with all the different swing coaches, and all they wanted to do is change my style of swing. I would have been much better off if I just stuck with my style of swing and focused on impact. And so I'm trying to help people from making the same mistake that I did.
ImpactZoneGolf.com. Let's go to Gary in Tennessee that's been patiently on hold before we take a break, because we got to get back on track here with those as well, with that long Lee Trevino interview, which was awesome, incidentally. 866-469-0026. Bobby Clampett has joined us. Gary, welcome to the show. How are you? You're on Maddie and Bobby.
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having me. Enjoyed listening to the Lee Trevino interview. Actually called in to tell a quick Trevino joke related to that story of him getting hit by lightning. And when I dialed in, I had no idea Bobby Clampett was going to be on. I wanted to say hello to him. Happened to be the brother of a friend of yours, Chuck Smith.
Oh, my goodness.
Over in Cary.
Absolutely. Saw him yesterday at the Masters.
Yeah, so hello. So I just wanted real quick, I was surprised Trevino didn't tell the other part of that lightning story. It's the best golf joke I've ever heard. When he said next time he's playing golf, when the lightning strikes, he's going to pull out his 1-iron, because even God can't hit a 1-iron.
Yeah.
One of the great lines in golf.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Gary, thanks, brother.
Yeah, thanks.
Gary from Tennessee, 866-469-0026. If you guys want to join us, we will continue to enjoy the company of Bobby Clampett after these words. Okay, Mr. Dom.
3 minutes.
We have quick breaks in this one.
Yeah. Hey, Dominic. Yeah.
Adam's apple, can you just tilt it up slightly so that it's a little bit there? You go. Yes.
You got Matt doing audio now?
What are you, a professional? Oh,
Too
man.
funny. You guys got a sense of humor around here.
We, you know, the beauty of this show, as
What are
evidenced
we not
by
supposed to?
having the pleasure of your company,
No.
we don't have to adhere to any set schedule.
I love it.
It's so much fun, and we have such liberty that we can go any place we want.
Oof, I love it. Well, that's what it's like covering live golf.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about that too. When we come back, we'll jump into all that stuff as well. So I ran into Schultze yesterday after you and I spoke briefly in the hallway, and I told him that we're planning on from what Kevin told me, it's the easiest gig in the world. I basically have to go, Cameron McCormick, talk to us about your philosophies, put on your clinic, and I get out of the way. It's awesome.
What did Lee have to say today? Did you catch him from Dallas?
I did. Lee had, on the 7th of April, was the recipient of a special award from the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And so we spent a lot of time talking about how and why he was emotionally and financially committed to the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And then as only Lee
There's your
Trevino-
picture, Matty.
as only Lee Trevino can do, he told this story about Danny Thomas and how, Danny Thomas had reached the end of his rope. He had $100 left to his name. He happened to go to church. He gave $70 to the 70 of the $100 that he had left. He happened to give to the church. The next morning, he got signed a toothpaste endorsement deal, and kind of, his career took off in the ascent. It's just one of these classic stories. So that my first question to Lee was there any point in your life, in your career, where you were at the end of the rope? And Lee Trevino said, you know what, Matty? He said, no. He said, when you come from where I came from,
Yeah.
dirt floors. And
30
he
seconds,
said-
fellas.
and I'm paraphrasing. It was like he was playing with house money. It was classic.
Yeah.
It was really one of these great stories.
I got paired with Lee in the third round of my first professional tournament, the 1978 U.S. Open. We were both tied for fifth.
Whoa. Save this for air. Are you kidding me? Don't waste this on Matt. What's the matter with you?
These microphones, just so you know, are open all the time. I don't know if they told you that.
Yeah,
So on the TV
I'm used
side,
to that.
Yeah,
on
but that
the
sounds
TV
like
side,
it
everyone
sounds
in the
like
world
he's
can
getting
hear
ready
you
to tell a great story. Come on. Just wait like 40 seconds.
All right. We can do that.
Thus,
All right, welcome back to the program on this Tuesday. Live coverage of the RBC Heritage on Sirius XM PGA Tour Radio, Thursday and Friday at noon, Saturday and Sunday at 1, Thursday and Friday at 3 p.m. on the Golf Channel side. Bobby Clampett is with us. Check it out, impactzonegolf.com. And I didn't even know you were coming on today. I mean, I appreciate, come right up on that microphone if you would. I appreciate that you would take the time and come see us, man. It's good.
This
good
is
to
so
see you.
much fun. This place is awesome. I love this.
It's what's cool about this show is that we were talking about it briefly in the break. We're in a position where we're not constrained by structure. I don't know if
Yeah.
that sounds very good or not, but that's the truth. We can kind of go wherever we want.
That's so cool. I love that about this.
You were talking about in the break, Dom yelled at us that we weren't allowed to talk about the story when the radio side in North America was in a commercial break. But you said the first time, what was it, the 78 U.S. Open you mentioned
this
you
was
were with Lee?
the first professional tournament I ever qualified for was the U.S. Open. I was 18, and it was at Cherry Hills. And lo and behold, I mean, I'm just a kid, right? But I'm playing some pretty good golf and actually had the outright lead after 24 holes. Made a couple bogeys and still get in the tie for fifth. A couple shots off the lead after 2 rounds. And I get paired with Lee Trevino in the third round.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just a kid. I've never even played in a professional tournament. And I'm paired with the Merry Mex, you know?
Yeah.
And Jim McKay came up to me on the way to the first tee, and you should have seen the first hole at Cherry Hills. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen, experienced in golf before.
That famed
There was
hole,
about 30,000 people on that hole alone. It was at least 10 to 12 deep from the teeing ground all the way down to the fairway around the green. It was just a horseshoe amphitheater of people. And Lee Trevino had the honor, and they announced him, 1968 United States Open champion Lee Trevino.
You're already doing the
blah,
Lee
blah,
Trevino
blah.
dance. If you're
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
on the TV side, Bobby's got the whole thing going.
And so Lee gets up there, as he does, and with a 1-iron, right? And he cold tops it off the first tee. I mean, it doesn't even get to the ladies' tee. And the crowd does just that, Matt. They go, oh! And there's this huge gasp. And it's dead silence. And I'm watching this going, Lee Trevino just topped it.
Now what do we do?
So I hit it down there in the rough and hit it up there by the edge of the green. Lee took like 3 more shots to get it out of the fairway, out of that U.S. Open rough, And so I'm just off the side of the green, and I've been playing all my practice rounds with Johnny Miller and Billy Casper, and I'm like really confident about this shot. And a little 30-foot chip out of the deep rough, and I make a swing and looking for the ball, and I don't see it anywhere. I look down, I whiffed it, went right underneath it. And I looked over at Lee, and he kind of looked over at me, kind of puzzled. And so I got down there, made another swing, looked up again, whiffed it again.
No kidding.
A double whiff. And then I get it up and down for 6, double bogey. Lee makes a double bogey. And we look over at each other, and he says, God almighty, man, can we start over? That was my first hole with Lee Trevino.
You were at the Masters, as you've been, 25
straight years.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And
seen some great golf.
this past week, you were on 15 and 16, right?
Yeah. And we
the
hosted on the
dedicated
range
coverage.
as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Being there in person, I mean, it's hard for me to ask you about 10, 11, and 12 on Sunday with Jordan Spieth, but I can ask you about this. When a player is in the middle of a tournament and where you go mentally with your concentration, your focus, and all that it takes, what happens when it starts to go sideways? What is that like?
It's gut-wrenching. And you can kind of feel it starting to happen. I was very interested when Jordan said to Mike, his caddy, about he felt like it was starting to unravel a little bit. He was losing it and looking for Mike to kind of say something positive, kind of get him back on track. But even Jordan talked about how he had his B-minus game.
Yeah.
It wasn't there. And you could see it on Saturday with the finish. The flared 7-iron at 16, the poor drives at 17 and 18, leading to all these bogeys and double bogeys coming in. And not even a great short game that he has could even save him from that. Now all of a sudden the lead goes from 4 to 1. And you could kind of see that kind of happening. But then he pulled it together, and those 4 straight birdies he made on the opening 9 on Sunday was magical.
Yeah, impressive.
Really impressive. And he had called Cam in the night before to come work with him on some of these things. So maybe he's got it figured out, but obviously it still wasn't quite there yet. Mm-hmm. And when your confidence isn't, I think back to Mike Weir when he won in 2003, the confidence that he had going down that second 9 was so critical. I think Zach Johnson experienced the same thing. They had the momentum, the confidence. Danny Willett had that yesterday. Yeah. He hit some beautiful shots, or Sunday. He hit some beautiful shots coming down the stretch. That 8-iron he hit at 16 was just awesome. And then the tee shots coming down the stretch. That 3-wood he hit, that tee shot, he had to back away from it 3 times on 18. All the distractions, but he had that inner confidence, and he knew that his swing was right where he needed to be.
And he's told us he was in full possession of the knowledge that he was now leading the Masters on Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely.
That's what impressed me so much about it, was that the pressure didn't consume him.
You could see it in his face, how intense he was. I mean, he's an intense guy anyway, but to have all of a sudden you're trailing by several shots, you're having to push, let's make birdies, and then all of a sudden Jordan makes quadruple bogey and you're in the lead. You don't expect that. And it's a awkward situation to feel that, but it's also a huge adrenaline rush. You have to calm yourself down and just go through the process of executing.
We talk about this on a level of amongst the gods, the golfing gods, Mount Olympus, but losing one's competitive focus happens at every level of the game.
Absolutely.
Even if you're playing against your buddies or what have you. Where can people go, Bobby Clampett, to try to regain some semblance of calm and focus when their world seems to be spinning around them?
Ooh, that's a great question, Matt. I think of this technology that my wife has been working with me. I played the Champions Tour for 5 years, and she introduced me to a couple new technologies. One is called Heart Math that really does with, they call it regulating your heart coherence. And learning how to use imagery and breathing techniques to bring your heart coherence down to its optimum level. So it's actually a technology that's biofeedback that you can actually see your results on an app and see what you're doing. Another one that Jason Day has been a big proponent of is this Focus Band. I don't know if you've heard anything about that, but Jason's been, these guys in Australia have developed this, and it's a neurofeedback system that engages and gives you feedback on whether you're issuing your mental capacities from the left side of your brain or the right side of your brain. Your right side of your brain has so much more capabilities, and the left side's that analytical side. The right side's your artistic side, visual side. And golf is best played when you can engage the right side of your brain. All of us who have competed understand that. When you're at your optimum, you're not thinking so much about your swing. You got a couple tips that you're working on, but you're working on that visualization, seeing that shot, and engaging the right side of your brain. That's what Jason does in all of his pre-shot routines, and he closes his eyes, he visualizes, he picks up. He's engaging the right side of his brain. This is technology that he's actually adapted as a result of Focus Band. So we teach both of these in our academy down in Naples, both of our headquarters down there. And it has helped me, I know, in playing the Champions Tour. I was just getting on the edge, working more with heart math, and I hadn't gotten the Focus Band yet. I'd like to go back on the Champions Tour now, having worked on the Focus Band, because I think Jason's onto something, and it's not surprising to me that he's number one now.
ImpactZoneGolf.com. More with Bobby Clampett after these words. Fascinating stuff.
You're right. You can go anywhere. You can go anywhere with this stuff.
We can do whatever we want.
And is that why he's putting pressure in the middle of that wrist there? Like it's his trigger point for that? Is that what he's doing that when he's pre-shot, when he's visualizing?
Yeah, that's part of his trigger to engage the right side of his brain. Yeah.
So how do you prep that? How do you learn that? Like
it's all neurofeedback. You actually have an
keep
app.
pushing that area and thinking about something specific?
No, you wear the band, you see it on your iPhone, and you literally go through your pre-shot routine, and you can see whether you're engaging the left side of your brain or the right side of your brain. And with that feedback, you get better at it, and you understand what are the things that you need to do to play in the right side of your brain. Because the left side really starts to get in your way. It's the side of your brain that starts saying, I've got to do this particular move. It's got to be this perfect. And
Bob Friend calls that playing swing versus playing golf.
Yeah.
Do you know Friendly?
Oh yeah.
Talk about it.
Let me ask a question.
Danny Willett kind of type, isn't he?
Yeah, well, but he's awesome to talk to too. He's very much like.
Oh yeah. He's come out with us on the Champions Tour, so.
Yeah. He's trying to Monday qualify where he can.
Yeah.
So Bobby, are you in the contingent then of folks that, because I know there's a lot of people that think that you can improve as a golfer spending a half an hour a day sitting in a chair visualizing playing 18 holes and not even moving.
Absolutely.
And then the next day you're a better golfer than you were the previous day.
Well, there's evidence to support that actually when you just sit and watch a videotape of your favorite golf swing and do nothing but watch it. It actually engages a lot of the same neurological responses as performing the action.
Now, is that a right brain activity only?
Absolutely.
When you do something like that?
Absolutely.
Interesting. This is all fascinating. What do we got? We got 40 seconds. We've got Jimmy in Tennessee. You guys will have like 9 minutes, something like that. Somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay.
I have like a techno itch match, Matt. I've been playing Masters stuff for like 8 days. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how upset would you be if I played some techno? I wonder if I can find something in the middle of the road.
Lee Trevino was telling a story about he was at some banquet, this St. Jude's banquet, and there was a priest there. And I was talking about when he got struck by lightning, and he said he was gone. He died, and he saw the light, and they brought him back. And he said he turned to the priest, and he said, look, he said, I've been talking to management. I know you're in sales.
I want to dance by water beneath the Mexican sky.
Welcome back to the program.
Drink some margaritas by swinging blue light.
Tuesday, Sirius XM, PGA Tour Radio, and across NBC Sports and Golf Channel platforms. Pleasure to have your company. As always, you can find us on watchfairwaysoflife.com, watchfairwaysoflife.com/video for the on-demand, or again across North America on Sirius XM, PGA Tour Radio, and on the Sirius XM app. Bobby Clampett is here with us. ImpactZoneGolf.com if you want to check out all the things that Bobby is working on. You know, what's interesting, when I get a chance to talk to you guys that become so passionate about teaching this game, is I rarely find that the pearl, the nugget, is something that came to you instantly. It's usually an evolution of philosophies over time. You're nodding, yours as well.
Oh, absolutely. I had this, I call it an aha moment, Matt. You know, working at CBS, they developed a technology called the BizHub Swing Vision camera that everybody has now. You guys have it. And for the first time, I got a chance to really study the golf swing and what was going on at Impact, because I had this lingering thought in my mind is there's so many different golf swings on the tour that nobody's teaching, but yet these are the best players in the game.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah. And so I'd start studying the likes of Matt Kuchar or Jim Furyk or Corey Pavin and Tiger and Phil, and watching what they did at Impact. And then I started going out on the fairways with CBS as a roving reporter and actually watching them strike the shots, and I could be right there next to them. And I started to see that their divots were all the same. They made the same kind of divots. You know, sometimes it might be on wet grass, and so they looked a certain way on wet grass, and they looked a different way on dry grass. But in the same tournament, the divots all looked the same with the same clubs. And so I started to study what was it about their impact, and it led me down that road to really study the impact and thus write the book, The Impact Zone. But it was born in understanding the great players, and what makes them great players is not their style of swing. What makes them great players is what they're able to create an impact.
You were a great player yourself, a three-time winner of the professional ranks. You've played in multiple majors. You've obviously been reporting in multiple majors. I think that comment you just made about the teaching of the great swings is fascinating to me. I've always wondered, why aren't there schools set up, disciples of the swing of Jack Nicklaus, for example?
Because it's not about Jack Nicklaus's swing.
Interesting.
His swing is his swing. You know, Arnold Palmer says, swing your own swing.
That's true.
I love that, because that's really what golf is about. It's about embracing who you are and your signature. Okay, your signature looks different than somebody else's, but they're both legible. They both accomplish what they need to accomplish.
Yeah.
You can read it. It's conveying a message. Golf is the same way. Have your own signature. Have your own swing. Just create the impact. That's the common denominator, what all the great players do. And unfortunately, it's also the common denominator what the average golfers don't do, that they need to improve on rather than changing their style of swing.
And let me ask you a question then. Why? Why is it for the amateur golfers that they cannot find that zone, that impact zone, so that they can make solid contact?
I think it's a couple things. One, they've never been taught properly. I think there's some fundamental flaws that in teaching, the average golfer thinks that they have to hold on to certain truths to the swing, and that's what's going to make them a great golfer.
Okay. Give me an example.
Keep your head down. One of the worst things you could ever do to play golf. You look at a lot of the great players today are actually rotating their head now before impact. Annika started it. David Duval has it. Dustin Johnson today. David Frost. Lots of players now actually rotating their head prior to impact. Yet the average golfer thinks, if I keep my head down on it, this is what's really going to
You know
matter.
why they think it. Your head must explode when you're at a driving range and you can hear someone teaching someone else, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you hear him say, keep your head still, right?
All the time. Oh, keep your head down. That's
must drive you. What do you do? Do you run over there and go like, no?
Oh, I turn around and walk away. It's honestly, in playing, I played 5 years on the Champions Tour. I played 220 Pro-Ams. That's 880 golfers. And invariably, the number one feedback that I saw when an amateur missed a shot is, I looked up on that one. Keep your head down, stupid. And it had absolutely nothing to do with their missed shot.
Did you tell them that? Or?
No. I didn't want to embarrass them. I thought it. And I'd go over there and hit my shot. Put my arm around him and say, I know it's a rough day you're having out there on the course.
You know what? I think you've got another book in you, Bobby. Are you serious? Are you working on a book right now? Golf's Greatest Myths.
I actually did produce a DVD that comes out next week on that.
Did you really?
Yeah, actually did.
Can people pick it up at impactzonegolf.com?
They can. I know it's being shipped this week, and I think next week it'll actually be on the market.
I hope we didn't let the cat out of the bag too early here on you.
That's one of the myths. There's 3. I'm not going to let you know the other 2, though.
Fair enough.
I'll send you the DVD.
Thank you. I have a feeling. In fact, we can play parts of it. Are you going to come back up this way again? Are you?
If I'm invited.
You just said you made your debut
This
on
is my first
morning drive.
Yeah.
So that would imply to me that you're going to make this more of a habit.
I have to get invited.
You're always invited.
Okay.
There's a seat at this table anytime.
I'd like to come.
I don't know
and be
about
with
their
you.
table.
Yeah.
But at my table, there's always a seat. We will feed you at any time. All right, Dom, do we still have Jimmy in Tennessee? Jimmy, you're on with Bobby Clampett. We've got about a minute here. Fire away, my friend.
Good morning, guys. Hey,
Hey.
Mr. Clampett, I used to watch you when I was in high school. You seemed really old then, but I just realized you're probably born in about 1960.
Thanks a lot.
And
Okay,
so you're only
Jimmy, thank
5
you.
years older than me. Yeah, no problem. Just trying to make your day. It's very interesting about what you say. I can't wait to look at your website. My 8-year-old son has really gotten me back into the game now, and I have no patience to teach him at all. But if there's one thing that I can tell him in this early month of first playing golf, what would it be?
You know, kids have a great way of being able to mimic and see exactly what a golf swing looks like. So you should really take advantage of that. Bring them out to a tour event. Let them see the best swings on tour. Let them just use that. But clearly, if you can inform him of what it is at impact, the purpose of the swing is. In other words, have him learn how to have a flat left wrist, how to have a 4-inch in front swing bottom, how to load on the backswing, how to have a little lag on the downswing, and how to deliver the club shaft down a straight plane line. If you can just take those 5 things of impact, those critical elements, and teach it to them, kids, it's so simple. Kids can understand that. Even an 8-year-old can understand that. And it gives you the foundation and will give him the foundation on how to build a golf swing that produces good impact.
Bobby Clampett has been our guest in this last half hour of the show this morning, in which we had that exclusive worldwide debut of the Danny Willett interview, and Lee Trevino was with us. Bobby is now a Golf Channel Academy coach as well. We got about 10 seconds left here, Bobby. At the height of your prowess, what gave you more satisfaction, hitting that perfect shot or getting now someone else to hit that perfect shot?
Right now, my greater passion is to watch people improve, because it's actually, I think, the hardest save in the game is helping people empower that golf is not an enigma or a mystery anymore. Everything is understandable if you understand what's going on at Impact. You just have to focus on it.
ImpactZoneGolf.com. Bobby, good to see you. Thanks
Nice to be with you,
so
man.
much. It was a pleasure. Folks, we'll see you tomorrow.